So again, welcome everyone, and we're here to talk about the MA in Tourism Management at Royal Roads University. I love the title Alumni Voices because I can hear and listen to alumni all day long. Like I love student stories, and I'm very grateful that three of them accepted to join us today in this session for about 60 minutes. So we have Dr. Moira McDonald. Hey, Moira, program head, and Maura have been with Royal for so many years, so I will be very interested in learning what she has to say about this program that she knows so well. We also have three students that just graduated, just crossed the stage last Friday. So we have Aliyeh, hello, Chris, hello, and Melinda. So very grateful for you all. And of course, when you'll have a discussion, I'll stop sharing and then we'll be able to see everyone's face. And my name is Nancy Prévost-Maurice. I'm an education specialist here at Royal Roads University, doing all events and webinars to raise awareness about the institution and talk about our graduate programs. As we get started today, I invite you to take a deep breath, really be present with us if you can, closing all other application you might be working on, and really stay with us for a few minutes to hear the stories and learn about the program you're interested in. And as we start our presentation, let's reflect on the lands we're on. So I am at home today, so it's the land of the Lagwagan-speaking people, known as the Sunhi and Esquimalt First Nations. So it's really with deep gratitude at Royal Roads and really in BC in general, I find that we acknowledge the lands where we're on, and we know that the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous people can come together as we learn, play, love, work, study together on those lands. If you know which lands you're joining us from, you can put that in the chat. It's always good to kind of a first step with reconciliation to be able to recognize the land we're on. And if you don't know it, then maybe that's an invitation for you to do some research after the webinar. Brief agenda for us today. I won't talk too much because that's not on me. That's not about me today. It's really about our graduates. But I'll do a brief overview of Royal Roads University. We'll hear from our three graduates. And then I'll pass it over to Maura to talk about the program. We have some exciting news with something new coming in 2027. And then I'll quickly review application process and requirements. And there's always, I don't know if today we have someone from Enrollment Services, but I will make sure that you know who to connect with after the webinar if you want a one-on-one follow-up. And if you have questions, put them in the chat as we go through the presentation, and we'll make sure to answer them in a written way, or we'll just voice them at the end of the presentation. I hope that sounds good. Do you want to give me a thumbs up or a little heart? Just making sure you're here. And thank you for that. And as we move forward to the presentation, I know many of you are from Canada or outside Canada. So I don't know if you visited Victoria before. Myself, as you can hear with the accent, I'm from Quebec, the French part of Canada. So when I moved to Victoria, I was so pleased to kind of look at those facts, right? Knowing that we're quite a small town, but we have two big cities at a few hours. So I can go to Vancouver for a weekend. It's a big city. There's lots going on there. I can also decide to go to the States and visit Seattle, and it's just a ferry ride. But if I like more of the outdoor, the quiet, still a lot happening. And even on campus, we have fantastic events all the time. But really, yeah, we're a small town, small population in Canada, but beautiful country, quite wide for some of us who have traveled around. And the top three industries in Victoria, we have advanced technology, tourism and hospitality, and education. So this is really a program that makes so much sense, in my opinion, because we have a lot of opportunities here in Victoria and on Vancouver Island. We have one of the mildest climates in Canada. Again, being from Quebec, I'm used to so much cold and snow. Here, I can be in running shoes in January. It feels really weird. So we get about 6 degrees in winter, some days of 0, sometimes a little bit of snow. but in the summer it's really comfortable with about 25 degrees. And we have a few awards, so small city in the world, like number one small city in the world many years in a row, number one friendliest city in the world in 2024. That's a pretty cool award, I find. Like friendliest city means that you get to know your neighbors and your colleagues at work, right? And that's at school. So there's a really beautiful community, I find. And number two, best cruise destination in the world. So that's pretty amazing. And that's just a start. I know that Moira and the three graduates will have more to tell about it as they work in the industry. And just quickly about railroads, we have many, many movies that have been filmed here, and we have beautiful videos on YouTube. So I know those images sometimes they don't fully represent the campus, but we have Hatley Castle, which is kind of the iconic building on campus, built in 1908. So we do lots of weddings and events and student events there. We have 565 acres of land at Railroads. So the campus in Colwood, we have the Japanese garden. I just learned that we have the only tea house, Japanese tea house of the island right here at Railroads. We have a new building that is called Sherman Chen Building, where most of the classes happen. Beautiful building surrounded by forest, just a few steps from we have a garden, a community garden. We also have the gym. And I want to let you know that we do online learning for 30 years. It's something related to what we'll see a bit later in the presentation. But please know that Railroads, we're quite of a new institution. We were founded in 1995, and we have done online education since day one. So this is not something we pivot to during COVID times. It's really something we have always been super good at. And I think, yeah, that's my last slide. We're a Changemaker campus. Very proud of it because only a few institutions in all North America got that designation. And it's all about innovation, as you can see here, innovative approach to education. And it's all about working with real life problems in the classroom and getting our students ready for the real world. So everything you do at Railroads is really linked to what is happening in the industry to really prep you for work and to advance your career. And I think with this, before I pass it to the graduate, this is from 2024, and I know that Chris, that is here with us, also spoke at the Impact Sustainability Conference, but it's just one of many opportunities that you get in the program. And I love that picture because I work with those three students in Mora, and I was there when they were on stage at a big conference here in Victoria in front of hundreds of people talking about their research. So I was just so inspired by them. And I know Chris did it last year too. And it's just phenomenal, all the connection that you build during that program. And let's hear from our students about it. So I'll stop sharing and pass it over to you, Maura, if you want to interview our students.
Oh, that's so nice. Merci, Nancy. You are something. I'm just going to start by thanking you. I love how you said take a deep breath because I did that. And for anyone listening, what you don't know is that Nancy is a yoga instructor. So I felt all that good yogi. Beautiful way to situate today. Thank you so much for that, Nancy. And I know you're an entrepreneur and a very high energy, beautiful, beautiful person. So I feel like I'm just having a coffee with you this morning. So thank you so much. This is absolutely lovely. I would also echo your comments about the community here, the beautiful community. I've been here 10 years now from Ontario and really just packed up everything and came here following taking this very same degree 10 years ago. 2012 is when I started it and finished in 2015. And so it feels like yesterday, just feels like it went like that. It's like right here in my mind. I remember being here and meeting, 20 new friends and in my cohort, and I could reach out to any of them today to ask questions, to have fun, to have a coffee, to connect, and to put the students that are here with us today, to put the students that are now graduates. Congratulations. We had such a great time on Friday. If you have the links to see everything that's been posted, it's just been epic. So well done. Congratulations to you. I'm sure waking up this weekend was fantastic. And the journey that you had. And maybe we could start with that, just thinking about your start in the journey and what motivated you to take the program, how you were positioned, if you had any bumps along the way and things that had to, get thoughtful consideration about how to stay in. And I'm saying that for me because, oh, thanks, Marina. That's so nice to everyone. You've got a congratulations in the chat, folks. When I started in September, by December, I didn't think I could continue because I was so overwhelmed. So I really deal in that reality space. And so I thought I can't do this anymore. So, and I had great support from an instructor that is still there, Professor White, and he said, hang in there, you'll get there. And honestly, by January, I had turned that corner and then was able to complete this degree that you completed on Friday. So congratulations to you. I would love to hear your stories. Maybe start with maybe thinking, what motivated you to start the program, and then if you had any words of wisdom, some pearls of insight into anyone who might be considering what this means to them in this moment. And I'll leave it to you to take the microphone. Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Melinda.
I'm like watching. It's like a game of chicken between Aliyeh and who's gonna be the one to talk for. Okay, I'll speak. Aliyeh knows that I was like ready to say something. So I decided to take the program because my kids, I was a stay-at-home mom for like a good 6 years or so. And so as my kids were moving on and through school, it became obvious that I had to reacquaint myself with the tourism industry. I have been a guidebook editor since the early 2000s, and I continued to do that a little bit while my kids were young, but it was it definitely got put to the back burner when I was sort of full-time mom. So as we started to transition from that stage of life back towards me being more active in the industry, it was clear that I had maybe spent a little too much time outside of the industry. So this degree was a way for me to get back involved and to upskill, to provide the opportunity for me to practice my own skills in writing and learn new skills in research, as well as get sort of more up to date on the latest sort of ethical and philosophical debates that are going on in the industry. And since I come from publishing, I don't have a lot of business experience. I have marketing experience, but not, I haven't done much thinking about how to run a hotel or how to think about operations or business plans like that. So the program was also appealing because it gave me the opportunity to just sort of dip a toe into those topics that I had virtually no experience in. So it was a good opportunity to revive a career for me, to get back involved, to practice my skills and get back involved, and then also to build connections through the university and through the tourism industry here in Victoria, because I had immigrated to Canada from the United States. So my contacts were all based in the United States. So this is a great way to also get that network building. So that's all I'll say about myself. So I'll pass it off to one of you. I don't know who wants to speak next.
Thank you, Melinda. That's so awesome. I remember the first day I met you in class. You were sitting in the back row and you had your laptop open and you had all your books around you. You could see your journalist background right there. I can visualize it very clearly, seeing you sitting there. And what I did notice was how much you demonstrated leadership, because you helped people. You helped people with their writing. You helped, yeah, I remember you helping people on the left and the right side of you. And you could see, sometimes you hear about people that have positions or they're in a role of leadership, and then you hear about people that are just natural. And that was, I remember watching you in that space. So congratulations. Thank you for doing all that you did with your cohort.
Thanks for saying that. And I also want to point out that that was the first day of that class, and I came late because I'd locked my keys in my car.
Oh,
I was driving back from a
no.
camping trip, like a solo camping trip, and I had gone the whole camping trip without locking my keys in my car. And then I stopped at the Souk potholes, and I locked my keys in my car.
Oh my gosh, now that you're saying that, I remember that exactly.
Yeah.
That was the day when we did perspective taking, and we did
Yes.
Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad
Yes.
Wolf, but we took the story from the perspective of the Big Bad Wolf, and then we put the sustainability goals into that conversation. Yeah.
That was a great.
Well, I don't remember you being late, but I remember from all the classes in that leadership course was seeing you and helping each other. So thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah, I think you
Moira.
can
Yeah,
let that late key thing go.
yeah,
You're all right. You're good. You're
It never
golden.
happened. Yeah.
Never happened.
Yeah.
That's so
Thank
kind.
you.
And please, I would invite Chris, if you'd like to talk about your origin story. I just finished sitting in on Chris's thesis defense,
Yeah.
and it was magnificent. So congratulations to you
Yeah.
on defending so beautifully. Over to you,
Yeah,
Chris.
thank you. Yeah, so well, as an international student, what inspired me to join Royal Rose was I had a tourism background. I worked in Asia for a couple of years in different tourism sectors, hotels, resorts, cruise. So after COVID, I was thinking that we should have something new to learn to adapt to the brand new environment. So this made me to come to Canada. And Royal Rose is one of the most popular choice if you want to go for a master in tourism degree, right? And Victoria is definitely, for me, is one of the best cities in Canada in terms of the weather and everything, I think. Yeah, so that's why I'm in Royal Rose. I do believe that it was a very fruitful and memorable journey for me. I still remember in the first days I met Professor Brian White. I told him that, oh, I have never done a thesis research before, even in my bachelor. But I want to have a try. I'm not sure, can I do that? And he told me that you will have our full support. You will finish it with no doubt. And that's why it encouraged me to go on with my research. And eventually it's working fine. Yeah. And so like throughout these 2 years, we have a lot of opportunities. Just as Nancy mentioned that I was able to attend the Impact Conference, meeting hundreds of people's professions in Canada or even from worldwide. And we also have the opportunities to present in a Spanish Peninsula Development meeting. So we introduce our project to the tourism professions in the area. And then also, well, we will have a research showcase next week with Melinda as well. So I believe that Royal Rose is a good place that provides us with a lot of opportunities. It may not be the biggest school, but I believe it's a school that you can get most of the support. So yeah, the journey will not be very easy. You may go some up and downs, but I believe that, well, all of us eventually will make it.
Beautifully said, Chris. Thank you. And if you feel so inclined, please feel free and Melinda and Aliyeh to type the titles of your major research projects and thesis into our chat, because I think that is just really helpful to see the research areas that you focus on. And thank you, Chris, for mentioning November 21st. That's the showcase is on Monday. So I'll see while we're chatting here, I'll look and see if I can get the poster so I can put it in here if anyone happens to be in Langford, Colwood, Victoria, or the area, to feel free to join. That's at our second campus on Goldstream. That's excellent. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And the Impact Conference, you and Nancy have both reminded me that that the one that's coming up, I still have to put some names forward of students that are in the cohort right now, because I have not done that. So thank you for that, a little to-do list reminder, because the Impact Conference, you were all change makers in that. You made it so that it's not the same conference without you. So the organizers are very interested in having that generational, diverse, educational, academic, practitioner knowledge at the conference as well. And I think that that was perfect. So thanks for reminding me. I have to put some names forward. Appreciate that. And then not last but never least, I'd like to introduce you to, I think, someone who might actually be a bit of a soulmate for me in my friend group. Aliyeh and I probably connected on day, well, look at the smile. I mean, seriously, connected on day one, and we just click and we just keep going, and we work together, and we laugh together, and we figure things out together. And her research area was incredibly interesting. Aliyeh was nominated for the Ted Wilson Lifelong Learning Award this year, and I'm not at all surprised, because if you had to, by the clock, I knew when Aliyeh was going to send me her work, ask me to review it, and keep moving forward. She was just like on. And I mean, you taught me a lot of things about how to advocate for myself in particular areas. And so I appreciated your power in those spaces. So Aliyeh, over to you.
I really appreciate all the compliment. I'm now feeling blushed. Good morning, everyone. I'm coming from Iran, so I'm Persian, and I had the background of tourism for a bit more than 10 years. I was a travel consultant selling Iran tour packages, and by having the COVID in our life, I started thinking about going back to school. And because my previous education background was English translation studies, which shows me the way to tourism, I started thinking about studying tourism. And when I searched, I found Royal Roads University, and in a very beautiful place. At that time, I even didn't understand that Victoria is not in Vancouver. And so when I saw everything, I started contacting Royal Roads University. And since day one, I found it how supportive everyone is at the university. And when I started my journey here, everyone, especially Dr. Moira McDonald, were super supportive. They've taught me not only the academic information, but also life requirements. They taught me that I can always ask questions, and they are so supportive for answering all the questions. Even Melinda taught me something very, very, very important in one of the time that we had a presentation. The instructor asked me something, and I was panicking. And Melinda told me, you always have the chance to say, I don't know. And that was a really something new to me, because I never find it easy to say, I don't know. But since that day, it becomes easier, and maybe it helped me a lot, because when you accept that you don't know something, you started growing and improving yourself. And on the convocation day, I told the university president that I'm so proud that I'm studying at Royal Roads University, and it really changed my life. And yeah, I hope anyone who join this program in the future will have lots of beautiful memories and achievement.
That was a great photo of you and President Steenkamp. I was watching the reel on Instagram. I think I might have watched it 100 times, and I was watching it, and then there you are. You just, it was a lovely, lovely moment, and all of you you're very celebrated. If anyone wants to have a look at the convocation reels, those are really, really great. You know, Aliyeh, you bring up some really great points, and thank you for circling back, because that just validates what I was saying about Melinda in the classroom on that day as well. And just hearing from Chris and listening to, you know, the journey and the work that goes into it. This is work. I also had a hospitality background and did not have a tourism background, so that was my motivation. Is I had a lot of experience in the luxury brand hotel industry, but I did not have experience in the tourism. So I wanted to see it from that 35,000 foot view and then drill down and see where we were going from there. I also just want to congratulate you, Aliyeh. I understand you're supervising. You know, you've got a large team now of people that you've recently promoted and supervising. So congratulations to you on
Thank you.
that big role in your work. Well done.
Thank you.
And I'll just ask Nancy, how are we doing for time?
Yeah, we can still have another 10 minutes conversation. Yeah.
Okay,
And I
excellent.
just want to build on about the support and like getting to know people. I know a colleague the other day was like, you call at railroads and you actually talk to a human. You know, like that's so simple, but it's true. All of you, if you call railroads and you have a question, they'll make it true. Like you will talk to a human, they'll figure it out and they will transfer. And it's something we have lost in society, but like I just love it. Like people will always be there to support at every level of your journey.
Yeah, and maybe will you be talking later about? I see Joseph. Hi, Joseph has a question. You know, maybe we can talk about that as well. We've got some slides as well that can show the outline of the program. I also wanted to mention. Oh, good, thank you. Put your thesis and MRP titles in. That was great. I wanted to mention that there is another way to take the program coming in 2027. So we can talk about that as well when Nancy gets us to that space. I think the research part of it also in the 2 years, Joseph, is really interesting because the coursework. I really struggled with the coursework because I had not been a student for a long time. I had worked in the industry for a long time, so coming back to school was really hard for me. And for some people, that's not a problem because they're coming out of being an undergraduate, they have a few years of work, and then they come into a master's program to level up, to increase their employment opportunities, to be able to apply for those jobs where you can check that box that says that you have a graduate degree. And that was not my motivation because I already had the job, but I wasn't going to be able to go any further in the role without the graduate degree. And looking around, I thought I have a big gap in my understanding of how tourism works and what we've seen. Aliyeh spoke to COVID changes in her travel advisor information and how she was like, how do we do this? And then transportation industry, the folks that work in the airlines, the folks that are on the cruise ship businesses, and how do we, I wanted to know more about that. I wanted to figure that out. The one course I took that I had absolutely zero experience with, and it was maybe the one I was the most excited about, was social entrepreneurship. I did not understand anything about that because I was a hotelier. I understand about the profit side of things. I did not understand about the giving back piece. I didn't understand about a triple bottom line. And this was, while the hotel industry was doing it in some ways, I didn't understand how this was working at a different level. And so that particular course was really game changing for me. And you know, I wonder maybe if we have a few minutes maybe to talk about, were there any courses with our graduates that, you know, if you were looking back, you're thinking this was the one where I had the steepest learning curve, where I really had to dig into the readings. I mean, that was the one thing that I think that really separates us, is that we're really lean on the readings that are going on in the world, so that you can inform your conversation, so that you could speak to topics because you're reading about it in peer-reviewed journals and you understand it coming from a undergraduate space, or maybe you have another graduate degree, and so you get this part, and we really lean into that. So I'm wondering, was there a course, Chris? Maybe I'll start with you. Was there a course that you had taken that maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I am what I might call a fish out of water, which was my social entrepreneurship course. Did you have anything like that, or was it smooth sailing, Chris?
Yeah, for me, like most of the courses are very interesting, but I think one of the most memorable course I have is a field trip course. Yeah, I joined the field trip course with some of my cohorts. We went up to the island for 6 days with Rebecca and AK, our professors. And then we spent a great time over there. We learned about how practically tourism works over there with the indigenous people within their communities. And eventually we have a publication together as about our learning and teaching method. So I never dreamed about like having a publication before coming to Canada. But eventually it works out and we did it. So this is one of the most fruitful experience that I have, and definitely I will remember this course for a very long time. Yep. Yeah, and I think probably Melinda and Aliyeh have other choices on their favorite courses. Right?
I'll say that the course that I was the most at least thrilled about and kind of like, oh, why do we have to take this course, was Moira's course. Yeah. The leadership course. I was like, I don't want to spend time talking about leadership. I just want to know how to run a hotel or how to run a program, right? Because like, why are we talking about leadership? And I remember like the readings of that course being like, oh, come on, and like all these different, leadership methods and styles, and what are your personal values, and where do you fall in the spectrum of this and that and the other. And I just remember being like, I don't want to do this. And then by the end of it, of course, I think the final assignment was like, a deep self-reflection over the whole course or something like that. And I was like, why did I spend the last 9 weeks like being like, I don't want to do it. And so then through the reflection, I was like, oh, right, because I have these thoughts about leadership. I have these like stories that I tell myself about like, oh, leadership, or where my place would be within leadership. If that leadership has a certain connotation in my mind. And so I had positioned myself in a combative like stance to the course. And so, but by the end, I was able to work through it and think about it more from a more open space, and to connect that, right, like if you want to do anything that's outside of, well, like Moira had said, if you're a leader in a leadership role, where either you've been assigned or you've taken on a leadership role, or you're just in your daily life, like picking where to go for dinner with your friends, like those are all on the same spectrum of leadership. And so it applies to multiple levels of life. And so that course was the one that was the most challenging for me, because I do come from like a journalistic background of reading and writing. Doing all the reading and writing in the other courses came naturally, but the self-reflection element of that particular course, the leadership course, was probably the most challenging. Ironically, perhaps that was my experience.
For me, I would like to choose 2 courses. The first one was your course, Moira, leadership, because I started knowing myself better, because I experienced being the leader of the colleagues at work, but I didn't have any academic background, why I did that, why I was pushy at that time, why I didn't care for such a thing. And then in your class, every day I started learning things, but at the same time, knowing myself. So every session was a reflection for me, which I really liked it, and I learned a lot. And the second was the social entrepreneurship, because I always have the dream of having my own travel agency. And in that course, I started building it. And I've noticed that in reality, it's not that easy that I'm thinking about it. So I started reflecting to everything in a new way. And I've somehow changed my dream. And who knows, maybe one day I can make a social entrepreneurship, and I can bring back all I've achieved to the community here in Victoria.
You know, that's so interesting, those two intersections, if I may, because I mean, that's just brilliant. You are leading right now in a hotel that is a social entrepreneur framework. So
Yeah.
I had never seen that before coming to Victoria from Ontario and working across the country with Fairmont. I had never seen what is happening in your hotel, where all of it gets given back to the community. So you've kind of, I don't know if that was serendipity or it was your plan, but you are now working at a place that is supporting both. You're leading at a place that is supporting both of those tenants. So well done. That's fantastic. Great
you.
job. Thank you for that. I'm just going to check in with Nancy. How are we doing?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think we start having question about the program itself. So I'll go back to sharing my slides. But wow, what a great discussion. I'm emotional over here. I'm like, okay, do I need to sign up for that master too? And I get
You
so
would
many
be
people.
an absolutely welcome addition on any.
Oh, I think we lost you for a quick second there, Moira. But yeah, I'm getting so many thank you in the chat, and so many people are amazed by. Oh, am I?
There we go. How's that?
Sure, who wasn't full? If it was me or you, perfect. Yeah.
I think it was me.
A
I was
big
just
thank
saying
you.
you're more than welcome anytime. And we also have students that come from other programs in the university that take some of our courses as electives. So that's really fun because it really adds to the conversations that we're having. And at the end, if there's any time left, I want to tell you about a liberating structure called the fishbowl that we did yesterday in class. If there's time, I'll add it. If not, we'll do it another time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to the 3 students here. Sorry, my screen sharing is not working for some reason. And I just want to welcome Alana. Alana is our enrollment advisor here, and she'll be able to answer any question people might have. I'm not sure can you see the, I don't know if someone else is trying to share. I don't know why my slides don't want to share again. My apologize.
Yeah, no worries. We can keep
Yeah.
talking while you're sorting it if you like. Hi, Lana.
Perfect.
Nice
Yeah.
to see you.
Hello.
There's lots of great questions in the chat as well. While you're getting the slides, do you want me to go scroll back up and have a look, or will you?
Yeah, if you don't mind it, yeah.
Prefer? Okay, excellent. I just want to also mention that our grads here have put in the names of their major work as well. So that is really, really lovely to have that. I'm just going to scroll up and start where I think is the beginning. Dawa, I see a question on the main focus areas, for example. Yes, and you're giving some great examples. You can also, you'll learn today too about specializations. So you could also take 3 courses that will specialize you in a certain area. You actually have core courses, and then you have elective courses. So, oh, there we go. There's Nancy.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Danielle. It's one of my students in the middle of that picture. I'll hand it back over to you to pick up from there. And I left off at Joseph's question on practicums and the curriculum with internships.
Yeah, actually, Moira, if you want to do those slides, and I'll move on with admission after that. But yeah, I think some people were curious about, can I do that program on campus or online? And here it is. Yeah.
Yes, so the structure is that you have, this is an on-campus program, so you have the first half and a little bit more, probably 60% of your program is on campus, and the other are electives that are either synchronous or asynchronous online. So it has a nice combination, especially if you're a working professional. It gives you that opportunity to keep your studies going, and you have all of that cohort building because you meet all the people in the class as well. So it's a combination of both. What I have got to say that's very exciting, that is very new, and I think you're the first group that's getting this information, is that based upon demand across the country and globally, the program will be offered as another way to take the program, will be fully online if someone wished to do that. So for working professionals who want to level up their education, meet some like-minded people, become one of the change makers, take a thesis or a major project route or a capstone route, working with industry partners, all of that is going to be possible as well without having to come to Victoria. Or if you're in BC, without having to change your living arrangements and with less upheaval. So we will be working towards telling you more about that online. That we're able to do that because we have back to Joseph's question, we have half the program, well, 60% on campus, but the other 40% being online already has enabled us to re-engineer and think, well, if there's this demand and people can't get to us, we could put this online because we have done it during the pandemic, because it has to be exactly the same and the degree that is earned is exactly the same. So the content is all the same. So we have experience with this based upon having to pivot during COVID. And so that is very exciting. So the university has recognized the demand for the program, and the university leaders in academic planning have recognized this. We also have a really robust advisory board, and we have done our reviews and had our external review the program, and they have all come back to say there's no reason why you couldn't have a different modality of offering to people that want to get here.
Thank you. Yeah, and that
you.
really answers some question about people asking for flexibility in the program. I know that that's something we do really well at Royal Roads, is to be flexible with you and different like admission dates and rolling admission we'll talk about. And yeah, a question I get often too, Moira, is can people take the graduate certificate first and then move on to the master?
Well, I mean, we've got some great examples of how people have taken the graduate certificate, got some great good jobs, and now are maybe thinking a little later about going on to the master's program because they leveled up so quickly with the grad certs. But absolutely, I think it's a great point of sort of testing the waters to see how do I like this? Is this working for me? And also, am I getting the supports that I need to be a successful graduate level student? And so, yes, that's been really powerful. So some wonderful examples of students who have come in, done the grad cert, and then got some great work, and then come back to take the rest of the program because it slips in so beautifully into their lives. And for some that got the grad cert and got the good work and stayed out, they might also be really interested in figuring out how to get the degree after January 27 online as well. So there's so many opportunities in the workspace. Right now, British Columbia is the statistics on BC is that there's 20,000 unfilled roles in tourism and hospitality. And those roles require leadership. Those roles require people to rethink, change make, redesign how the work gets done, Aliyeh did her research on AI and in the industry and how we're applying generative AI. Agentic AI will come in as well and take a look at some of how our industry is responding to that. So I think that we need to have people who are educated in this area who can come out and say, this is how we should solve some of these major problems. Sorry, that was a long answer to a great little question.
No,
Yes,
that's
the
great.
answer is
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And on this slide, I know someone was asking about the internship component. So maybe we can talk about it as I browse the slides. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So the internship, there's a course that you can take that is worth the credits. You get the 3 credits as well while you're paid and your working job. So our internships are all paid. There is nothing that you would do other than that wouldn't be paid, other than maybe your own interest in the volunteer space, which I know that all 3 of our graduates have spent time in. So yes, we help with that. Also, if there's an area of interest in that you'd like to work, then it's really on us to go and help you find that space that you want to be in. And also, you're working with other career professionals. So like Aliyeh, Chris, Melinda, these are now our alumni and who also have a vested interest in how you're doing. Melinda is actually teaching in the undergraduate program right now as well. So the people are really leaning in, and it is becoming the internship is becoming very interesting for people that now build their own network and then pay it forward and help others with that. So yes, 3 credits, internship, very powerful, and lots of roles to play.
Wonderful. And this is the 3 completion options I think we touched on today with the thesis component and our 3 students here, but there's 2 other options. Is that
Yes,
correct?
absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, so sorry. I was like, where's my unmute button? Yes, absolutely. So Aliyeh did the major research project focused on tourism and AI, and her theoretical framework was an appreciative inquiry. So she took a look at what it is, and then she followed that model to figure out how it could be better. And her research involved primary research as well. And she went through the 9 credits like a absolute boss. She just like nailed every deadline and finished on time, no problem. So that was really exciting. And then to see Chris and Melinda defend their thesis and get recognized for it in their community and also over the university at large. And what you might not have heard already is that Melinda was the recipient of the Governor General's Gold Medal Award across the entire university for her thesis. So very, very beautiful to see. So these are 2 of the other ways to finish the program. The capstone course, you work with an industry partner. There's usually a smaller group, like about 10 people in a class, maybe 12. You have a highly engaged instructor who works through all of the things that you learn. So they take all the courses, just like you might have done in an undergraduate as well. Take your marketing, your human resources, your research methods course, take your social entrepreneurship, your leadership course, apply your finance course, your co-creation course, marketing and innovation, and put all that into one course so that you come out with an artifact at the end. So that is really interesting to a lot of people. And it's also interesting to people because then they can also take 5 other courses that they might be interested in. So we've got the 3 completion options, which are quite robust on all the levels that people might be interested for their really personalized end to their program.
So true. And someone was asking about those specializations too. I think I have a slide here. Yeah. So that will be the 3 main one.
Yes, thank you so much. I just have a book chapter right now that's being published on the wildfire work that people are doing to look at this from a tourism lens, a destination management organization lens, and we're talking about our responsibilities as tourism leaders with respect to disasters and emergency management. That is being, I'm not the lead author, the primary author on this is a student who is in our doctoral program right now. And she was a graduate of this program as well. She has her MATM and she's gone on to do her doctoral program at Royal Roads. And she is focused on this area in an incredible way. She also works with Indigenous leaders in this space. So that is really interesting when I combine the sustainability specialization, the disaster emergency management specializations. These are ways that you can take 3 courses and have an area that you can speak to as your specialization. And I love listening to all of our graduates here talk about their the social entrepreneurship space as well. And Aliyeh really leaned in on that also. So I think that people want these micro credentials that are added to their understanding of their area of expertise. And I'm very excited about how Royal Roads approaches that. I think we'll probably see some other ones as we have the capacity to hear from our students on what they're looking for and what the future is holding, because what we want to do is have specializations that are push out 5 years. Like, what is it needed? Not needed in the 5-year view. And so reading the statistics and reading, understanding what British Columbia is looking for, especially because that's our role. We're to support the British Columbia experience and employer and employees. And so that's really quite prominent in how we would look at those specializations.
You answered, I think, this one already, how the industry is doing, because I think there's needs everywhere for trained people in tourism and hospitality.
Yes, and I think Aliyeh could speak to, she joined us at Tourism Travel Research Association, TTRA Canada. She joined us as a presenter of her research in Prince Edward Island at the conference last year. This year, the conference was in Kamloops, and 2 of her classmates joined us in that, now graduates, also in that program. And then one of those graduates, she joined the international conference in Galway with me in June, and we were hearing from the global world about this entire area of study. We leaned into everything that was wicked problems, the over tourism, the serious problems, to some of the more light and fun topics like film tourism. So we leaned in. We heard from the folks that ran the Game of Thrones, the folks that understood Star Wars and how they filmed in Ireland, because we were in Galway, and we got to hear how they worked with community, and then how the things they did wrong. We got to hear about how they filmed a piece of an area for 6 seconds, and it became the #1 tourism focus for people going to Ireland. And it was the Dark Hedges, and in season 2 of Game of Thrones. And this one moment where the filmmakers took 6 seconds of film, they didn't even send a film crew, the conference folks were telling us, and tens of thousands of people went to this area. And so the subsequent outcome of that was not so positive, because there was damage done to the trees in the Dark Hedges. There was damage done to the farmers' transportation through that road, and the folks, and it's not very far from where my family live. And so this was super interesting. So we brought all of these tenets of the global space back from these conferences, which all of our students are welcome to attend. And I really have paying attention to what Chris said about most memorable was the field trip course. So I'm really going to lean into that this year, Chris, and maybe get your input on how we can improve that as well for the next offering. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think I'll move on to the admission requirement. And thank you, Elena, for adding so many links in the chat. And I will share all those links with the recording. But yeah, many people were asking, like, what type of career can I come up with? And I think our 3 graduates already talk about it. But this is a little bit like just a quick overview, I guess, of everything you can do with a degree. I'm trying to like, do you have another example, Moira? I don't know if people have more question about it, but I think it's so broad because you gain so many skills in different areas, and then you go with your passion.
Yes, I'm looking at your slide. There, it is really a pay yourself first approach. I think you have to look at what you want to do and who you want to be at the end of the next few years. And does a graduate level degree support you in those goals? And then you take a look at where you want to work. What are your values? I think that goes back to values-based approaches to everything. Is there a company that you want to work for? And I scrape Reddit in my research. I look at what people say about things, but I also really dive into the Indeed postings, and I look to see what the qualifications are in Indeed for many of the jobs that get posted. And it is really important to me that we're staying on top of what the industries are looking for, and it is transferable. A lot of these conversations can transfer into areas that you didn't know that you would be working in, and it could be marketing. You could start in one place and then get picked up by a company that wants your area of expertise, and plus with your passion. So you've heard some very passionate graduates today about what they leaned into, and it's surprising how much when you come into a room, what you bring in that room when you've made a decision to elevate your education. And I think all of the global leaders always talk about education as being the game changer. So this may be for you, it may not be for you, but as they say in Newfoundland, what's for you doesn't pass you. So if this is for you for now, let's have a conversation. If it's not for you for now, we can have a conversation when you think that might be a time for you. And the grad certs are certainly a great way to toe test and to just see, is this something I can do? And will it make a difference in my life?
And to build on what you just said, exactly, like people get excited about applying, and sometimes people are like, do I need to start next month? But this is great with this program because there's so many, and I'll just go to my slide here. There's so many intakes in the programs that you can already think about, okay, is April a good time or August a good time? And you can already apply for those intakes. They're all on the website. You can find all the information. And at Railroads, I really like that we do rolling admission. So you don't have to wait any of those application deadline. You can already apply, pick your intake, and then start uploading your documents. So talking about flexibility, I think it's great because you can start a year from now, and that's totally fine. And at every step of the process, you'll have someone to guide you and answer your question and help you with the application. And we do something very cool at Railroads called flexible admission. So I know some of you have already got the information in the chat, but many of our students will come through standard admission, but many of them, I think we're almost at 50-50 in general at Railroads, 50 through standard admission, which means you have your 4-year degree, undergrad, you have some work experience. Here we say at least 2 years. And then you have, as I say, work experience or what we call an internship or industry-related internship for about 24 weeks. So this is kind of the traditional path to education, I guess, that you know of from many countries or Canada. But we also have the flexible admission. So if you don't recognize yourself here, you still have a chance to get into the program based on your work experience. And I know some people, I think like myself, don't have English as their first language. So in the chat, we mentioned, yes, we will need to have your credits evaluated, international credits evaluated. And also, I think at Railroads, we often recommend that course that is called Academic Writing and Critical Thinking. And I've taken it, and it's with our professional in continuous studies. And it's very useful if you have been away from school for a little while, or if English is not your first language, because they teach us how to do research, how to read all those long papers, and how to make the point out of them. And it's people usually that will go in different masters at Railroad. So even in that class of 4 or 6 weeks, you already get to know more people from Railroads and share your experience. And this is not something as you apply to Railroads, you don't have to click flexible or standard admission. The amazing team with admission advising will look at your profile that you create, and they will let you know if you need to upload more documents than less. And if you're coming through flexible, we ask for 7 years of progressive work experience, 3 years of which would be in a leadership role. And I think as we talked today, leadership can be broad. So I would say don't play small, or don't think of yourself as small, because often all our students have more experience than they think of. You just need to sit and reflect on what you have done for your volunteer work, just your work, and different maybe committees, clubs you have been involved in. And again, the little information at the bottom about academic writing and critical thinking. And if you're ready to apply, you go online, royalroads.ca, pretty simple. You click apply, you pay that online application fee of $139.43. And then the system will send you a link and will say kind of, welcome to Royal Roads. Here is how to upload your documents. And we will ask for all official transcripts from past post-secondary institution. So that means all other studies you have done in any country, we need to see the transcript. And of course, at the beginning, you can supply us with the unofficial transcript, but to get what we call a letter of acceptance, we need the official one. So your past institution will share that with Royal Roads. We ask you to write a detailed resume. So that's a fun one. It's almost like applying for work, but you apply for education. The personal statement was actually my favorite when I applied to my master's, that you get to sit and reflect of where you went before, right? What's your past, what's your present, and where you want to go. And you tell that story so the admission advisor can understand who you are. And if, for example, you have some past school experience and your grades were not the best, you can use that personal statement to explain, why is that. And we ask for 2 letters of reference. We often say one academic, one professional. So you can already think of who you can ask, and there's all that guidance on the website. So you don't have to remember any of that. You go on the website and it's really step by step who to ask and how to submit documents. And those deadlines, there's upcoming intakes. I think some people are joining today that are already in the funnel to apply for December, because we have a December intake, I guess, in 2 weeks. So if you're already in the system for that, go for it. But if you want to, you need a few months, of course, to get all your paper together. And like going to grad school is a big decision. So taking time to talk with your employer maybe, or your friends and family to be successful, I think it's a smart move to do. But we have many intakes coming up. And services available to you, I think we post that in the chat too. Of course, we have financial aid and award. I really like our website because you can really see, you can clip who you are, where you're coming from, like anything that applies to you. And then you'll see a list of reward that you can claim, or any financial aid. And enrollment services, as I said, Alana is here. And I love that email address. It's so easy, learn.more@royalroads.ca. They can book a Zoom meeting with you. They can put you in touch with an alumni, a student. They can put you in touch with Moira. So really everybody is here to support as much as we can, so you don't have to do this alone. And I love that picture of our peacocks. I think we have maybe 70 peacocks now on campus. So I think it's a highlight for many of us when we come to Royal Roads. So maybe we'll see you in a on-campus, blended, or online offering over the coming months. But thank you so much. And thank you for our 3 graduates and for you, Moira. It's so inspiring. I'm getting a lot of thank you in the chat. Any final words? Someone is starting in December.
I'm
Yay!
just going to say, I'm just seeing that as well. That's so exciting. Okay, well, come find me. I'm in the Sherman Gen building. Come say hello. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any final words from our graduates?
Thank you for the opportunity today to come and talk to future students at Royal Roads, and especially at MATM.
Yeah, thank you all. Yeah. Very great session. Amazing. Have a fantastic day, and we'll work on the recording link and send it over. So thank you, everyone. And sorry we went over a little bit. Too much to say.
That's my fault. Merci, Nancy.
Merci.
Très gentil. Merci.